Do you have one of Canada's most valuable stamps? Let's explore. Ah, Canada. A country known for maple syrup, hockey, its vast northern wilderness, and widely regarded as having some of the most beautiful stamps ever issued. But which Canadian stamps are the most valuable, and what makes them so desirable to collectors? We partnered with Scott Catalogs and pulled the 6 most valuable Canadian stamps, excluding errors and minor varieties. So open your albums, let's look at the top 6, starting from least to most valuable. Starting off the list, we have Scott 13. This is a 6-pence brown violet issued in 1859 with an unused catalog value of $61,250. It features Prince Albert, the husband of Queen Victoria, and by this point, Canada was moving into the world of perforated stamps. This is already a major classic, and high-quality unused examples are extremely scarce. Collectors are especially looking for strong color, a crisp impression, and clean perforations. And what's crazy is that this is already the highest catalog value that we've seen for a stamp in this series so far, which means Canada is off to a very strong start. Next up, we have Scott 10. This is a 6-pence stamp, reddish purple, issued in 1857 with an unused catalog value of $70,000. Like the previous stamp, it features Prince Albert, but now we're stepping slightly further back in time, and with that, we lose the perforations, meaning collectors are paying very close attention to the margins. It's printed on very thick, soft-wove paper, and as you might expect, finding a clean, unused example with great margins is no easy task, which is exactly why this stamp commands such a high price. Now, yes, we've had 2 Prince Alberts in a row. I wonder what Canada's 4th most valuable stamp looks like. Here it is, Scott 2. This is a 6-pence slate violet issued in 1851 with an unused catalog value of $85,000. And now we're stepping into Canada's very first stamp issues. Like many other early classics, this was printed on laid paper. Upon close inspection, collectors will find faint lines in the paper, an interesting feature to look for from how the paper was made. And being that it is Scott 2, this is considered Canada's 2nd stamp. And yes, it's Prince Albert for a 3rd time in a row. I guess Canada really likes him.
It's not the rarest on the list, but it's the one I gladly lick. It's my personal pick.
Before we get to the top 3, it's time for my personal pick, the stamp I've chosen that has nothing to do with value and everything to do with why we love stamps. My pick is Scott 1690, the $2 polar bear from 2003, with a catalog value unused of $2.90. Ah, some of you were expecting me to say the blue nose, and yes, I love the blue nose. It deserves every ounce of praise that it gets. It's an absolutely spectacular stamp. But for my personal pick, I want to go with something different. Canada's got more than one beautiful stamp, you know. So looking through my collection, I'm going with this gorgeous modern issue. Issued in 2003, it combines recessed printing with lithography, giving it that crisp detail and soft color blend that really brings the scene to life. And of course, it has a polar bear. Not every country can claim polar bears as part of their wildlife. So I get excited about subjects like this. And I don't know about you, but every time I see this stamp, I just want to hug that big, fluffy, cuddly bear. Disclaimer, do not approach bears, do not hug bears. Bears are not fluffy friends. Bears are extremely dangerous animals. We are in the top 3, and just like Scott 2, this stamp is valued at $85,000. But there's something very special here. We have Scott 1. This is Canada's very first postage stamp, issued in 1851, the famous 3-pence beaver. Canada didn't start with a monarch like many countries at the time. No, it went full beaver. Considered to be one of the first pictorial stamps in the world because instead of a royal portrait, it features a national symbol, which feels extremely on brand for Canada. And if you look closely, you might notice something else. A tiny sun with a face, a smiling face, which means this might also be the first stamp with an emoji on it. Canada was ahead of its time. You can actually find a fair number of used examples out there that are quite affordable. Scott lists the used value at about $1,120, but condition can vary quite a bit. So just because it's a Scott 1, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's out of reach for most collectors. It's definitely one to keep your eye out for. Between its historical importance and the limited number of unused examples out there, it's no surprise that this stamp sits near the top of the list. Next up, Scott 3, meaning the first 3 stamps for Canada are in this list. This stamp is 12 pence and black, issued in 1851, with an unused catalog value of $225,000. What? Now, this is where rarity really takes over, because this is a big jump in value from Scott 1. While about 50,000 of these stamps were printed, it's believed that only around 1,450 were ever actually sold, with the rest getting destroyed. And this was a very high value stamp at the time, issued right at the very beginning of Canada's postal system, so it saw very limited use, which is why surviving examples in any condition are quite rare. But it's also a beautiful stamp featuring Queen Victoria, with deep black engraving, the fine detail. It's one of the most striking classic designs of the era. And here's where things get even more interesting. A used example is still extremely valuable. Scott lists the value for a used example, $112,000. Used or unused, this stamp sits at second place on this list. And it's one of the great classic rarities of North American philately and a cornerstone for any super serious Canadian collections. We've seen her here already, and here she is again. The number 1 spot is fit for a queen. This is Scott 32. This is a 2-cent large queen on laid paper, issued in 1868 with a catalog value of $250,000. And what makes this stamp so special? It's not necessarily the design or the color, but it is the paper. Laid paper varieties in this issue are extremely rare, and identifying them requires careful inspection. And unlike all the stamps in this list, this one is only valued in used condition, because unused examples are unheard of. And just how rare is this stamp? Well, only 3 are known to exist. That's it, just 3 examples are known to exist, which means it's not just a rare stamp, it's a true crown jewel of Canadian philately. So there they are, some of Canada's most valuable stamps, plus one personal pick. Together, they give Canada a total take of $776,252.90 in Scott catalog value, which, when looking at the leaderboard so far, absolutely blows past Argentina, putting Canada firmly in the number 1 spot. Let's see how long it stays there. And that brings us to the end of this episode, which is brought to you by Scott, the worldwide leader in stamp listings and stamp values. Visit scottstamp.com to find stamp catalogs, collecting guides, and much more for your collecting journey. So do you have any of these stamps? Which country should we explore next? Let us know in the comments. As always, thank you for watching and happy exploring.